Number 26. Hey everyone, my name is Clint Butler and I am from Digitaleer.com. We are a full service marketing agency and this is our weekly podcast. It's a roll up of the recent news in marketing. I specifically aim for SEO stuff. However, we do pick up a lot of social media, pay-per-click, all kinds of marketing content, and look at it and see how does it apply specifically for our clients, and then how could we as business owners leverage it. And rather than going through and reading all these and not doing anything with them, I put this roll up together to share with you. This week we are broadcasting simultaneously on Periscope and YouTube Live, which is very cool. Actually kind of proud of being able to do that. And so, without further ado, I want to go ahead and get started with this week's episode. I'm just closing some stuff out here, save a little bit of broadcast memory, and here we go. First off is HubSpot is 14 of the best Snapchats to follow for inspiration. Now, the reason why I picked this blog post is because Snapchat is actually becoming very, very popular. If you haven't watched the recent news, they actually did their IPO and came out and their stock shot up to the roof. I think it's kind of low right now compared to what it was when it launched, but it is a public company now. And originally, there was a lot more kids on here than anything else. As you know, kids kind of break into and find out what's cool, and then us adults go in and market on it and ruin it for everybody. So, what this post is about is 14 different channels that you can use, or to just kind of figure out how to leverage stuff for your business or your blog or whatever. A lot of people find that these live kind of platforms are a little bit harder to monetize because you don't have ideas or don't know what to talk about, or how does this really relate? I can't sell plumbing on Snapchat. Well, really, you can. You just got to get a little bit of creative with it. So one thing I did like here, and I'm just going to scroll down so you can see it, is the mention of the Cisco channel. And keep going. And I wanted to point this one out. It's number 3 because it applies when you're dealing with a tech company. Obviously, we're a tech company. So how does I could talk about marketing, or I can do the whole Gary Vaynerchuk thing, and really who's going to compete with him on social media talks. So I think SEO this week would work on Snapchat. But if you are, like I mentioned, the plumber, and in this case, Cisco is networking telecommunications, it's kind of boring. So what do they do with it? And what they did is a day in the life of an account manager, and they just did this series. Or you can do that with your guys, a day in the life of a plumber, and just follow around and changing a toilet, or repiping X, or changing a faucet, and that kind of stuff. While technically it is pretty boring, so you want to have a little bit of a personality when you're running a Snapchat, but it is an option for you. Again, there's a bunch of different posts in here, or companies listed for you to look at, see what they're doing, and maybe you can apply it to your business in order to leverage Snapchat. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to try put SEO this week on there. We got to see how we're going to pull that off. Simulcasting to 3 social networks all at the same time might get a little bandwidth intensive, so we'll see how that rolls. Our next post is on search engine land, and it's called Google Site Search is on its way out. So if you don't know, what the Googles did is they had this cool little API thing that you can plug in, and it would allow you to let your users search Google specifically for pages that were on your site that were indexed in Google. The benefit to that was, one, you made sure that all your stuff was indexed in Google, and 2, you can actually leverage that for AdSense. You get money for it as part of your advertising process. Now, they're killing it off. And I think the reason that they're doing it is because a lot of content management systems now have their own built-in search functions, so users or webmasters aren't employing this very much. And honestly, I don't think users use the search functions on the sites as much anymore as they used to. People are getting a lot better at navigation and related posts and all that other stuff that search. My guess is the use of this actual API kind of just died down, and so rather than support it and maintain it and all that other madness, they're just going to close it altogether. So like I said, most content management systems have a good search system built in place for you already, so it's not something that is going to end the world. However, if you have a really well-established site and you can't change the CMS and you are depending on this API, this blog post does give you some recommendations as to some third-party solutions. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Including this Swift type right here, which as you see is pretty interesting because it actually gives you some analytics that are going along with your search too. So I don't know if that would be worthwhile for everybody. I think you'd have to have a really big site and a lot of traffic in order to leverage this more effectively and make that worth a spend as an added cost. But the option's there for you. So you can check that out. This one is from Moz, the 6 Values of Agile Marketing. It's a Whiteboard Friday post. This was pretty good. I liked it a lot. And what it did is it talked about 6 reasons why you need to use Agile Marketing. And it's presented by Jim Ewell, who's behind AgileMarketing.net. I like this a lot because we do business intelligence work here at Digitaleer as well, and we employ Scrum. Now, if you don't know what Scrum is, it's a form of agile planning system. And it typically you'll find people who are really leveraging agile to be like web developers, software developers, technicians of that kind of sort. And you can use that now with a little bit of imagination, not only for your marketing, but you can use Scrum, which is a form of Agile, for your marketing as well. And here's 6 ways to do it, like ways to think about it. And what I liked was really cool is we were doing 6-month to year marketing plans. And we switched to a Scrum process where we do them quarterly. So he highlights that here. You can respond to change. So no more 2017 marketing plan. Just do first quarter marketing plan. Or let's say you have a business that changes from month to month to month and you know it. Do a month marketing plan. Hold your Scrum meeting. Outline what you're going to do for that month for your marketing and then execute it. And it does it. It allows you to manage things a lot easier. And the benefit is many small experiments. So instead of having, running PPCs and funnels and all that stuff all in one big, huge experiment, you can break it down into smaller ones and really adapt to what is working and what's not. There are 4 other values or uses of how to take advantage of agile marketing and some benefits here. The really biggest one is to be able to adapt to change, in my opinion. You're not locked in on this, and you don't have to make a full year of a marketing plan, and you can adapt to new platforms. Like the next Snapchat may come out, the next Facebook may come out, and you'll be able to adapt to that and leverage it more quickly and more responsibly than where I have to change an entire year's marketing goals in order to do that. So very good post. The video is short. You can read it if you want and check out some of the comments. A little bit misguided in some of the comments in my opinion, but and look at these and see if agile marketing is something that you should look at. I think it is. It makes your life a lot easier when you use agile or Scrum, which is a form of agile marketing. We're going to go back to HubSpot and we're going to talk about how customer driven copy helped HubSpot increase conversions by nearly 100%. I don't really want to talk about that. So what they did was they changed all their copy and made the pages convert better. And from the perspective of this article is essentially they redid everything versus changing or checking on headlines, etc. So the value here is letting you know how to write a piece of copy for a landing page or a sales page from the beginning. And that's what you're really going to get out of this article and the steps that are outlined here, including interviews of the team. That's a Scrum process, by the way. Mapping the user, which is using analytics. You can do that with the user flow inside of Google Analytics. Then you copy audit, which is you can do that inside of the user flow analytics, and you can also use heat maps to do that. The biggest part, I think, out of this is the takeaway is the customer research. So you have to segment your audience, create your avatars, and then create these research documents. You can call this whatever you want, but frequently asked questions, and then should ask questions, and then how to address that inside of here. There is a spreadsheet that goes along with this blog post. I've highlighted it here for you. You can see it and come to the page and be able to download it. And then there's instructions on how to leverage the spreadsheet. Pretty good sheet. It's simplistic, so the instructions are really do you some good if you just download it and try to figure it out and you're like, I don't know what I'm looking at here. So and then there's some ways to collect some customer feedback. The biggest one that I liked was actually getting feedback out of your support tickets, and you can find that inside of the recurring, and then figuring out the recurring themes. Recurring themes are important because you can figure out the pain points in advance and address them in your copy right off the bat, which will increase your conversions. So again, this is a little wordy. However, it is, I think it's valuable, especially if you are creating a new funnel or new landing pages, etc. So check that one out. The next is Search Engine Journals, Best Practices for 2017 SEO Audits podcast. I read it. I didn't listen to the podcast. It was just faster for me to review it and read it. But you can check it out. These podcasts are actually pretty good. This one's presented by Ann Crow, and where they're going over the value of a SEO audit, should you or should you not do it, and then a little bit into the steps to take to do it. And there is a link to a post that she posted on this same blog. It's her personal checklist. I checked it out. It's pretty good. We may add a couple points that she noticed in there that we don't have in our standard one or our quick audit. We have a quick audit and a really thorough, in-depth one. So I think this is a good, if you're doing quick audits, check out her checklist, make it out, and then you can do some videos and just audit your site really, really quickly on a quarterly basis, and pretty interesting. And then some things that you should look at inside of your audit, why they're important, etc. This is, I like it. It's good. It's a good talk. It's a short talk, so I think you'll enjoy it. It's good for the bus ride or the drive home if you don't have all that much traffic to get stuck in. As an aside, this is not in our listing because it's an older post, but I did find it on this blog. It was an ad here. Let me see right here. This Google Rankings cheat sheet. So if that ad is still there, I suggest you at least check out the post. Now, it is driven to sell the use of their software. So it kind of takes us from that point, but the ranking signals are still relevant. We are a user of SEO Power Suite, so I think if you are in SEO, then you should check it out, and you can leverage this post to kind of figure out how to do it. But really, the 9 factors are the number of backlinks, link authority, keep going, anchor text and its diversity, on-page SEO, covers 2 is relevance and length, and user experience is the click-through rate, social signals, and then technical is mobile friendliness and page speed. I think really, if you had to break down the 200 ranking factors, and if you did focus on just these 9, you are actually going to be doing pretty good compared to most people. So while I think 9 is simplistic, I get where they were going for in order to, this is how our tools are effectively used to address these 9 signals. They did list what I think are probably the top 9 for where you start looking when things are going right and wrong, and find out why. So definitely something to check out. Like, again, it's not on the roll up, but it's Google's 9 major ranking factors. It's in the SEO Power Suite blog at linkassistant.com. I think you'll enjoy this. If anything, just get your mind around why your SEO is telling you X, Y, and Z. Next is how to add and track social media buttons on your site. This is a post about custom coding in your social badges into your templates. Specifically for PHP is how they're written. Let me look. Yep, verify that. PHP. So, I don't know, honestly, if you're using a WordPress thing, why not just use a plugin? It makes it a little bit easier. The downside is some plugins actually add a lot of bloat. So, which is why I think the Yoast guys, since they created their own specific WordPress template, it made sense for them to go ahead and create their own custom integration of their social buttons. If you're in the same boat, you look at this code, it is basic. It's not the actual code. They say it right here that it's not the code that's actually in production on their site. You could probably find that in the source code if you look for this and see the exact production code. But like I said, if you have a custom design and you want a custom solution for your social buttons, then this is a pretty good option to give you a head start. Come in here and copy what they did and give that to your developer, or if you are the developer, then there you go. Now you don't have to recreate the engine, as it were. And then here's some code to add this to your blog page posts, and then some code that's for your Google Analytics tracking. So check this out. It's interesting. If anything, if you do like us, we do some single pages HTML sites. This might actually be something to look at implementing, so you can share those single page HTML sites. This is the blog post on Razor Social. It's an Ahrefs review. We personally use Ahrefs and SEMRush. Those are our paid tools. One other one that I would recommend highly is Link Research Tools. However, if you can spend a lot of money over there at Link Research Tools to get the full power of everything that's available. So Ahrefs and SEMrush are what we use as our go-tos all the time, and we'll turn on a Link Research Tools subscription as needed. It goes over some of the uses for Ahrefs, the backlink profiles, determining your page's backlinks, anchor phrases, seeing who's linking to you. And then there are 2 newest things is the Content Explorer and the Keyword Explorer. Very cool tools. We haven't leveraged the Content Explorer that much because we have it built into Digitaleer already. But I think it's something that worthwhile for people looking for content ideas and comparing those to what your competition is writing and what you should be writing about to kind of guide your content marketing plan. The Keyword Explorer is getting better and better. They used to not have much data, and now they've amped up their data collection. They've amped up their data collection for their backlinks and more. This is a all right review. I think you can kind of read it and get it a little irritating to you. Just my OCD kind of kicked in already. So number 2, number 2, number 3, number 3, number 5, number 6, number 7. Clearly, a lot of thought wasn't put into the editing of this thing when they posted it up on their site. However, I think it's still worth the read just to check out the functions. We'll probably do a Ahrefs review on Digitaleer just to help people out who were looking at this tool as a replacement for Moz and Majestic. I think probably for sure replace Moz any day of the week, in my opinion. And Majestic, I switched from Majestic to Ahrefs, so I just like the interface better. I like the results better. So, but again, that's rather a personal choice versus because one is better than the other, in my opinion. So. The next one is SEMRush blog. Is 16 awesome tricks to boost e-commerce sales. The reason we got this one here is we're getting a lot more people that are selling products on e-com, and we're interacting with more webmasters that are doing that. I wanted to highlight some ideas that SEMRush had come across that they found were really good. And there's 16 of them here, and I'm going to scroll down to the one that I think probably should be number one, just because I've left sites because they've had this thing in here in their buying process, and I hated it. There it is, right here. Remove checkout registration. So removing checkout registration is a must, as it severely affects your conversion rate. Never force buyers to register for an account with your e-commerce site. I can't tell you how that's. I don't know why that became like the industry norm. I get list building, and I understand it's easier and cheaper to keep a current customer than it is to find new customers. But when you force the registration like that, especially for me, if you're forcing me to register your site to order, I'd rather just do a search and spend a little bit of that time that it would take me to sign up to find someone else to buy it from that I don't have to register. So I think, balancing list building with forced account registrations, I think you could actually set it up to where if they have to enter their email address to send you receipts and you just leave a checkbox to subscribe to my list, you've accomplished the same thing versus make an account on our site now. So get rid of that. That would be, out of all the 16, that's the one that resonated with me the most. And if you have an e-com store, this is probably a really good post for you to check out. Just give you some ideas. Probably more often than not, if you've had a store for a long time, you've already considered a lot of this stuff, but there may be one or two things in here that trigger an idea, or you're like, I wonder if this will work, and then you'll find it on here, and it might be pretty, kind of validate your idea. So, again, if you have an e-com store, check this out. The next post is how to increase your e-commerce conversion rates using Google Analytics. The downside of this post is it doesn't give you the technicals of finding the data inside of Analytics or how to set it up, but it does show you more so and where to look, like segmentation of traffic sources, page performance, product performance, shopping behavior, and increasing your conversion rates with that data. It does, like I said, it does not tell you how to read the reports to turn that data into something actionable, and it doesn't tell you how to implement it and how to implement specific things like product performance and shopping behavior require conversions and goals to be set up. So you need that stuff. So in that. With that in mind, when I put this on the SEO This Week post, I actually also added the link to the book. This is our Bible, the Google Analytics Breakthrough. It goes not only into setting up analytics, but more importantly, how to set up through Google Tag Manager and add different tags, goals, etc. inside of your GA account through Tag Manager in order to collect all of that stuff and make it all actionable for you. So come in there and click the Google Analytics Breakthrough and go straight to the book. You can pick that up on Amazon. It's not cheap. $35, I think is what it was. But it's a hardback. That's the one we picked up. And like I said, we get a lot of use out of that book. Great information. And they also, the authors of this do a monthly a webinar in conjunction with this, and you can get all kinds of downloads and everything else as you progress through the book to help you with your GA setup. So definitely a must-have book, in my opinion. And next we go to ppchero.com. It's 3 easy ways to optimize landing pages with low traffic. This is this is going to be our last post for SEO this week, and in so much for this week, the SEO this week. So what? And I wanted to stick along with the conversions, and this is really for the people who have low traffic markets. You're in a local market and you sell something for $5,000 for say, and only 50 people in your market are searching for it, and you only get 45% of the traffic. How do you find conversion rates? It takes you 3 to 4 months to get 100 visitors, which is what we use as a guide. 100 hits, and this is what we see in that conversion. Let's change this. Let's test that, and for your A/B testing. So what we like to implement is heat mapping. Now we are specific. There's a lot of options for heat mapping. We use Get Clicky as a secondary analytics tracker to verify the numbers that we're seeing in Google Analytics, and Get Clicky gives us heat map functions as part of our subscription. Very cool. If you've never seen a heat map before, basically it's really as simple as what it sounds. The more people click on something, the redder it gets, like an infrared image. And that's how you can decide whether this button's working for you. It's not. It's a waste of time. People aren't scrolling down to the XYZ part of your website, that kind of stuff. So implement a heat map. There's a list provided here. If you don't have one and you want our recommendations, again, I recommend Get Clicky, so you can use that to double check against your Google Analytics, and you will see differences between the two. Get Clicky is better at filtering out a lot of garbage traffic that Google Analytics picks up, and you get the heat mapping as a bonus. And then there's this 5-second test. This is another one we want to implement, is usability. And you run in there and you set up a test where you can submit pages for 5-second testing, and then the testers will let you know what's going on. Very interesting. I like the idea of it, and I'm actually going to plug a few of our clients in there just so we can kind of drive home a point about why we need what on a website. This is invaluable. This 5-second test is really cool. So I suggest you run that on your website, or if you have clients, run it on your clients. And then there's the old just ask people. One caveat is don't ask your friends. Friends lie to you and they'll tell you, oh, it's great. Unless you got like a brutally honest friend. But for the most part, they don't want to upset you. So, oh no, it's perfect, or why don't you do this and do that? They might not be your target market. If you have a website and you have a physical business location, just ask some of your clients, hey, what did you think about our website? Oh, I didn't see it. No, check this out. Give me your first impressions. It's really easy to do. If you have technicians and you're like a service based and you go out to the homes and stuff, have your technicians ask that to some of your clients for a week. Just have them take the tablets, and most people are using tablets right now anyway, and just open up the browser real quick, show the website, hey, what do you think, and gather some opinions. It won't take your technicians any more time than it would to fill out the checkout cart in your Swift or whatever you're using, your PayPal processor. So this is a good article. And that's it. That we did 10 posts this week for SEO This Week, episode number 26. As always, if you go to SEO This Week tab, I actually put a form up here for you to submit sites that you would like us to add. And to look at, consider for our roll-ups. So check it out, and you can see our latest episodes down here as well. So we always encourage people who are writing great content to reach out to us. I have no problem whatsoever highlighting you, especially if you're writing good stuff that we can turn into actionable stuff for our SEO campaigns, our clients' SEO campaigns, and help the community. So thank you very much. This is Clint Butler from Digitaleer, and we'll see you next week.